After 17 years of abandonment, my estranged half-sister, who hated me, came to claim my home, backed by her entitled family. My half-sister and I have no real relationship background. My dad divorced our mother when I was 5, and HS was still 4 but going on 5. HS was the product of my mother's affair and was born exactly 9 months after me. My dad stayed with my mother until I, at 5, told him about the man my mother kept bringing over when he wasn't home. HS's father. My dad gave my mother the house in exchange for removing his name from HS's birth certificate. He paid her child support for me until I was 8. My mother abandoned me during her week because her affair partner didn't want to take a child that wasn't his to visit his family for the holidays anymore. HS pretty much hated me because her grandpa supposedly liked me better. Dad tried to be civil and make sure I had a relationship with HS after that, but I didn't want anything to do with her either. So, I never spent time with her. HS herself would say she didn't have a sister, so I never claimed her either. The day I made my account, HS called me. I don't know how she got my number, but she was sobbing about our mom kicking her out of the house and not wanting anything to do with her now that she's married to a man whose name I don't know. I just hung up on her, to be honest. She started texting me that she really needed her sister's help, saying she had nowhere else to go. Her father cut contact a while ago, and no one was willing to come to get her. She lives 6 hours away from where I live, which I guess is easy to figure out. I live next door to my dad. I'm a bit torn because when she called again, I told her we're not actually sisters and I'm not coming to get her, nor am I giving her a place to stay until she's back on her feet. Then I hung up again. I blocked her number, but she kept calling from other numbers. Now I have people from my mother's family telling me I'm an awful sister and should be more understanding because I was once the child that got kicked out. I just need some insight because I want to know if I'm in the wrong or if I should have gone about it differently. Your mother's family has a lot of nerve. Are any of them stepping forward to help your HS out? Ultimately, you don't owe her anything due to some shared genetics. At the same time, do you want to act the same way she did? I'd definitely be cautious about bringing someone into my home that I didn't trust enough to not rob me blind, etc. You know her better than we do. If you decide to be the change you would like to see in the world, just be certain to lay out all the possible ground rules ahead of time. My main question: they act the same way she did. Had this been a few years earlier, I would have helped her. I think when we were kids, she was just parroting whatever her parents were saying, but we're both 25 now. And I don't get why after 17 years I'm the one she comes running to. I don't think I should have said what I said when she was already so emotional, but I just don't get it. No one is helping her as far as I know. Most of the people calling or texting are people I don't have a relationship with. My grandma claims she has a full house right now, and since I technically live alone, she thinks I should help HS out. But she's saying that because of the whole family helps family mindset. I don't know her all that well anymore either. She's as much of a stranger to me now as she is to you. I just want to know what others would do in my place. NTA, but it's a bit strange that no one seems ready to step in and help your HS. What did she do to get kicked out? Her texts made it seem like her mother got remarried and that her new husband didn't want her in the house anymore. My grandma hasn't added any more information either. An aunt and a few cousins claim that it's similar to what happened to me, a new spouse not wanting a child that isn't his around. I wasn't sure where to post this. 4 days ago, I made my account and contemplated asking if I was A for something my half-sister HS had called me about. She was crying, saying our mother kicked her out and she really needs her sister. I hung up the first time, and when she kept calling and texting, I told her we're not actually sisters, and I wasn't driving 6 hours to pick her up or letting her stay with me. I've been getting non-stop texts and calls from my maternal family since then. My maternal grandmother, the only person I stayed in contact with, pretty much begged me to be a good sister and let HS stay with me. She told HS I have my own house, gave her my number. I've blocked my grandmother, and everyone is saying that I should be understanding because we've both been abandoned by our mother. It isn't the same. I told my grandmother this, but no one seems willing to acknowledge that. For context, HS and I are exactly 9 months apart in age. She's the product of an affair, and my dad stayed with my biological mother until I was 5 and told him she kept bringing a man around when he wasn't home, her affair partner and HS's biological dad. Dad divorced BM and gave her the house in exchange for removing his name from HS's birth certificate. BM lost custody of me when I was 8 after abandoning me because her affair partner didn't want to bring a child that wasn't his to family gatherings. Dad tried to keep it civil so I could have a relationship with HS, but she was a mini affair partner and never viewed me as a sister. I didn't like being around her, so my dad never forced me to. BM, her affair partner, and HS moved not long after this. BM had been in childcare and lost her job because no one wants to hire you to watch their kids when you abandon yours in the middle of the night. I haven't seen HS in 17 years. I didn't know what she looked like until I came home today. She was sitting on my porch with a suitcase and a car that pulled off as soon as I parked. I didn't get out of the car. I was too angry to even move, and I'm still angry right now. She kept saying she needs me and started crying, telling me that our mom was awful, her dad cut contact, and BM's boyfriend doesn't want her in his house. I live next door to my dad, so when HS started knocking on my car window after I just stared at her, I called him and told him what was going on and asked what I should do. Dad told me to stay in my car and call the cops, saying she was a trespasser, which I did. I didn't get out until the cops came, and when they did, HS told them I agreed to let her stay and now I'm leaving her homeless. I just showed them the text, specifically the only texts I gave in response to everyone demanding I let her stay. No to you having the space, no to she's your sister, no to can she please stay with you. Nothing but refusals before I blocked people. When HS kept saying we're sisters, I told the cops I haven't seen this woman in 17 years. I don't know her. I didn't even know what she looked like. We're not family beyond sharing an egg donor. I went as far as unblocking my grandmother and calling her. I didn't even get to speak. She said, "Look up, I love you, but you need to get over this. She's family and she needs you, and I've told your father you'd go to hell if he raised you to be so damn selfish, and you definitely will because she's going through the same thing you went through." She hung up right after, and I told the cops they could book HS or drop her off at a shelter. I don't care. I just want her off my property. They took her, and now I'm sitting here on my dad's couch wondering what the hell just happened. He doesn't want me to stay alone right now in case they show up. I'm so pissed right now. I don't get it. 17 damn years of no contact. I only speak to my grandmother on holidays. I don't know most of the aunts, uncles, and cousins that blew up my phone, but because BM pushed me out, I have to do what they tell me to. I'm 25 years old. I've only had my dad and my paternal family for years. Thank you very much for listening to the story so far. I suggest you to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss tomorrow's stories.